So in today's class, we'll be discussing about radiation heat transfer. We had already started this concept in the previous class, but since the time was less in the previous class, time left was less in the previous class, we could not complete it. So let us revise the concepts again, what we had discussed in the previous class, and then we'll move proceed with the new concepts of radiation heat transfer. So the rate in case of radiation heat transfer, unlike conduction and convection, which cannot take place without any medium, so a radiation heat transfer can take place in the best possible manner if there is vacuum. So if there is a radiation heat transfer between two surfaces which are separate from each other, which are not in contact, and where the vacuum prevails between the two, the space between the two surfaces is evacuated. There is no pressure, there is no medium, and no solid or liquid or gaseous medium in between the two surfaces. Then the heat transfer which will be taking place between the two, owing to their temperature difference, of course, there has to be some temperature difference between the two two surfaces. Otherwise, the heat transfer will not be possible between the two surfaces. So if there is temperature difference prevailing between the two surfaces, and the two surfaces are separated from each other, not in physical contact with each other, and there is no medium in between the two surfaces, then the only heat transfer mode that is possible for such a case is radiation heat transfer. So in case of radiation heat transfer, the energy is emitted. One more thing, at present, means at any point of time, all the bodies, let it be living body or non-living body, every body in this world at all the times will be radiating or emitting energy. Okay, so radiation, it may not be radiation heat transfer actually, but everybody at any point of time around across the globe will be emitting energy. Okay, so the energy emitted by a matter as a result of its finite temperature difference or finite temperature is referred to as thermal radiation. Now what do you mean by finite temperature here? The temperature of the body has to be more than absolute zero temperature. It should not be an absolute zero temperature. Otherwise, if it is at any temperature above absolute zero temperature, then that body is bound to emit some energy, and that energy emission will be because of the internal energy possessed by that body. Okay, so the energy is released by the matter because of oscillations and transitions. We have discussed this concept in the previous class, that the energy is released by the matter, any matter, it can be any substance, because of oscillations and transitions of many electrons that constitute the matter. Have we started recording? Yeah. Okay. So which constitute the matter. These oscillations and transitions take place and sustain due to internal energy. Of course, means we have seen that the internal energy is a function of, for any pure substance, the internal energy is a function of temperature alone. So as the temperature of the matter or the substance increases, the internal energy which it possesses increases, and with the increase in internal energy, the kinetic energy of oscillation and transition will increase for the electrons and molecules. And due to those increase in oscillation and transition, the energy has to be emitted to the surroundings. That is called as thermal radiation. Okay, so thus the thermally excited conditions, because for this emission to take place, the reason was temperature. That is why it is called as thermally excited condition. So thus the thermally excited condition in the matter give rise to emission of thermal radiation. All the substances at finite temperature emit radiation at all the times. Now, this radiation for gases and semi-transparent solids, the emission is a volumetric phenomena. This also we have discussed, and that is the radiation emerging. Now here we can see this two phenomena. For part figure A, it is volumetric phenomena, while for figure B, it is surface phenomena. Now what is the difference between figure A and figure B? The point is that here, in case of semi-transparent solid or in case of gaseous medium, high temperature gas or a semi-transparent medium, what happens is, suppose this is an electron or a molecule, it is emitting energy in all the directions. Okay, and the summation or the integration of all these energies is the this arrow is indicating the integration of all these energies which are which is emitted by this molecule or by this electron in all the directions. So this one direction, it has been integrated into one direction, and that is a result of all these energies which it is releasing or emitting in different directions. So there are no the difference between two molecules, as you can see, is quite large. One thing. Second thing, there is no restriction for this molecule or for this electron to release energy in the downward direction also, because this is a transparent, semi-transparent or a gaseous medium. So there is no force which is restricting it to not to transmit energy or emit energy in this direction. So it is emitting energy in all the directions. Okay. Now here, while in case of solid or liquid, what happens is there are the molecules are quite close to each other, first thing, and because of that, the energy emitted in a particular direction, let us say there are molecules here also, those molecules are also emitting some energy, and but the energy emitted by those molecules are getting absorbed by the molecules which are adjoining those molecules here, and so on. So only the surface molecules can actually emit effective energy which can be actually observed or recognized. So in case of any opaque medium, all the solids except a few will be considered as opaque medium for this course, and liquid also will be considered as opaque medium. So all opaque mediums will be having radiation as its surface phenomena, while for transparent medium or gaseous medium or semi-transparent solids, it will be a volumetric phenomenon. Now for this course, for the sake of this course, we will be discussing only radiation as only surface phenomena. While in most of solids and liquids, okay, therefore the radiation from a solid or a liquid is considered as surface phenomena, and situations involving micro scale and nanoscale devices are the exceptions for this. So even though those can be devices which are in solid state, or it has some liquids in it, but for those cases we will be considering it in the radiation phenomena as volumetric phenomena. You don't have to bother because we don't have to deal with those cases in this course. Okay, the radiation can be a propagation, the propagation of a collection of particles. Now there are two theories in place which describe the radiation phenomena. One of the two theories is Max Planck's theory, which says that it is a propagation of collection of particles, which the collection is called as photons or quanta. Okay, and the other theory is given by Maxwell, which says that it is a propagation of electromagnetic waves. Now, what are these theories? Let us see. So Maxwell theory says that the energy is transferred from a hot body to a cold body in the form of electromagnetic waves. The electromagnetic waves possess the energy emitted by a body as a result of the change in electronic configuration of atoms or molecules. Now, why does this change in electronic configuration or atoms or molecules take place? This is owing to the temperature. So it can be a chemical reaction, it can be a temperature difference, it can be a heat transfer phenomena, whatever it is. If there is a change in electronic configuration of atoms or molecules, then electromagnetic waves will be emitted or released by the body. And that is how the heat transfer will take place, or the energy transfer will take place. This concept is useful in studies for the prediction of radiation properties of the surfaces and materials. Okay. Second theory which we discussed was Max Planck's theory, and it says that the propagation of thermal radiation takes place in form of discrete quanta. Now quanta is a plural of quantum called photons, each quantum having an energy given by this. So it is h into nu, which is also equal to h into c upon lambda. Now here lambda is the wavelength of the radiation or rays which are getting emitted, and c is the speed of light in that medium. If it is vacuum, then this c becomes c naught, and that is equal to 3 into 10 power 8 meter per second. Okay, and h is the Planck's constant, whose value is 6.6256 into 10 power minus 34 joule second. Okay. So these are the two theories of which define or explain the phenomena of radiation. But we can consider any theory. We'll consider the theories based on our convenience. Okay. So thus the radiation can be like when we'll be dealing with Planck's law, Planck's distribution law, we'll be considering his theory, that is quantum theory. So thus the radiation can be attributed wave properties, standard wave properties, which are lambda and nu. Lambda is frequency, wavelength, and nu is the frequency for the radiation or waves. So lambda and nu are related to each other with this relation, which says lambda is equal to c upon nu, where c is the speed of light in that medium. We had seen this spectrum of electromagnetic radiation also, and the part of this spectrum which we will be interested in this course is this much, 10 power minus 1 micron to 10 power 2 micron, that is 0.1 micron to 100 microns, which also consists of 0.4 to 0.7 micron, which is the visible radiation, which is again divided into 7 parts, which is called as VIBGYOR. Okay, and the complete of infrared radiation and a part of ultraviolet radiation. This complete part is called as thermal radiation. Since we are dealing with the since we are studying a course called as heat transfer, so we are concerned about the radiation phenomena which occurs as a result of temperature or which results into some temperature difference in the surfaces or the bodies where it is taking place. So that type of radiation is called as thermal radiation, and it consists of this part of the spectrum of electromagnetic radiation. Then the intermediate portion of the spectrum, which extends from approximately 0.1 to 100 micron and includes a portion of UV and all the visible and infrared radiations, is termed as thermal radiation because it is both caused by and affects the thermal state or temperature of the matter. Hence, thermal radiation is pertinent to heat transfer. Now, all surfaces at a temperature above absolute zero, this we have seen already. This radiation can be this radiation is not of a single wavelength or in a single direction. So the radiation can be distributed in the form of directional distribution. This shows the directional distribution of the radiation waves, and this shows the spectral distribution. Spectral distribution is the distribution of wavelengths. So the radiation emitted by a surface can have or will have radiations of different wavelengths or waves of different wavelengths. So this shows a schematic of distribution of wavelengths. There are different radiations of different wavelengths in the radiation emitted by a particular surface. Here, the radiation is emitted in different directions. That is one thing. Obviously, it will be emitted in all the directions whichever is possible for it. But at the same time, the thing what can be observed from this figure is that the radiation emitted by the same surface in different directions are not same in magnitude. So magnitude can vary according to the direction. In some particular direction, it can have a larger magnitude, while in some other direction, it can have a smaller magnitude. That depends on the nature of the surface and its temperature. So basically the distribution, spectral distribution as well as directional distribution will be dependent on the nature and the temperature of the surface from where it is emitted. Black body. Let us define now an idealized body for radiation heat transfer, which is termed as, which is called as black body. It is a body which is a perfect emitter and a perfect absorber of radiation. And it is called as a black body, a body which is a perfect emitter or a perfect absorber and a perfect absorber of radiation heat transfer is called as a black body. It has an ideal surface with the following characteristics. So these are the characteristics of a black body for radiation heat transfer. It absorbs all incident radiation from all directions at all wavelengths. So whatever wavelength radiation is incident on the black body, there is a body, it is an imaginary body actually. So if that body absorbs all the incident radiation on it, let the radiation come from any direction, let the radiation be of any wavelength, it will be absorbing all the incident radiation on it, then such a body can be called as a black body. Then it has to satisfy the second characteristic also. It is at a specific temperature, the black body can emit the maximum energy. Means no other body at a given temperature can emit energy more than what is emitted by a black body for that given temperature. Okay, this is emission, this is absorption. Now, radiation emitted by a black body is dependent on wavelength and temperature, but not on direction. In the previous slide, we had seen that radiation actually is distributed in direction-wise, distributed direction-wise also, and spectral distribution also is there. So, spectral distribution deals with the wavelength distribution, means different wavelengths, and directional distribution deals with what is the magnitude of radiation in different directions. In case of black body, the radiation again will be dependent on wavelength and temperature, but not on direction. So in all the directions, it will be distributing, it will be emitting radiation of equal magnitude. Okay, so such a body will be called as diffuse. Such emission will be termed as diffuse emission. We'll see it later. It neither reflects nor transmit any amount of incident radiation. Now, when we'll be discussing this absorptivity, transmittivity, and reflectivity, we'll see that because the black body is a perfect emitter and perfect absorber, so because of its being a perfect absorber, it will neither reflect any part of the incident radiation, nor it will transmit any part of it. So it will absorb the complete radiation incident on it. Black body is an imaginary idealized body. A surface coated lamp black generally behaves like a black body. You might have seen the condenser coils on the back of the fridge or refrigerator is always painted black. Then the compressor body also, hermetically sealed compressor body also is painted black. Now you have to find the reason for that, why it is painted black. Because when you know now that a surface which is coated lamp black behaves like a black body. It will not be actually a black body, but it will behave similar to a black body, okay, with respect to thermal radiation. Also, ice and snow, now this will look like black. So we can assume that, okay, it is behaving like a black body. But ice and snow, which are white in color, also behaves like similar to black body for all wavelengths. Okay. The closest approximation to a black body is achieved by a cavity. Now, as we have discussed that it is an imaginary idealized body. So we cannot have any real surface which will be actually acting as a black body, or which will be serving our purpose for black body thermal radiation. So it can only be approximated to a certain extent. So the closest approximation what we can get is from a cavity whose inner surface is at a uniform temperature like this. So this is a cavity which has its inner surface. This is the inner surface of the cavity, which is at a constant uniform temperature, and this can be called as a isothermal surface. Okay. If radiation enters the cavity through a small aperture, like from here we can see that the radiation, incident radiation, is entering the cavity through a small aperture here. This is a very enlarged view of the actual cavity. It is of a micron size. The cavity is of micron size, and this aperture is even lesser than that. Aperture is even lesser than that. So the incident radiation is falling into it, means entering the cavity through this aperture. And now what will happen to this radiation is it will hit this surface here at the same temperature. Now this will be reflected. Again, it will be hitting here. Yes, 341. Yeah, 341. Any doubt? So here it will be this radiation actually will be subjected to many such reflections, and every time it gets reflected, it will hit the surface again at some point within the cavity. And with this repeated reflections and hitting the surfaces, the complete energy which was carried by this radiation will be absorbed by this cavity now. So this cavity can be considered or approximated as a black body. Okay. Hence, it is almost entirely absorbed by the cavity and the black body behavior is approximated. Moreover, based on thermodynamic principles, we can say, see, this was a part of absorption. Now we have seen that black body can also is also the perfect emitter. So what about emission? Based on thermodynamic principle, it can be said that radiation leaving the aperture depends only on the surface temperature and corresponds to black body emission. So it is not dependent on the direction. The radiation which will be emitted by this cavity through this aperture will not be dependent on the direction, and that's why it is also it can also be called as a perfect emitter. Means the radiation of which is not dependent on the direction. It is only dependent on wavelength and temperature. So thus this cavity will be approximating a black body in its behavior of related to thermal radiation. Now this there are some definitions to be defined. There are some parameters to be defined. First one is emissive power. This is at a given temperature, the rate at which energy is emitted by a surface in all directions over entire wavelength. Now we have already seen that the emission radiation emitted by a surface will be distributed based on the wavelengths also and based on direction also. So at a given temperature, the rate at which energy is emitted by a surface in all directions over entire wavelength per unit area. Now this is not the energy, it is flux. So per unit area is called the surface emissive power. The emissive power depends on nature and temperature of the surface. It is given as this, where emissive power E, capital E, is a function of epsilon, lambda and T. Now we'll forget about epsilon for just few moments. We'll see that emissive power is a function of actually lambda and T. Means it is a function of wavelength of the radiation and temperature of the surface. The black body has maximum emissive power, and thus at a given temperature the emissive power of a black body will be the upper limit for emissive power for all real surfaces. Now directly we cannot calculate the emissive power from for a real surface. What we'll be doing is we'll be comparing that real surface with a black body. Suppose a black body is at the same temperature what the real surface is at now, then what will be the emission, what will be the energy emitted by that black body per unit surface area? That energy multiplied by some multiplication factor will give us the energy released or emitted by the real surface at the given temperature. Now that black body will be emitting an energy equal to the constant sigma, that is Stefan-Boltzmann constant, multiplied by Ts4, where Ts is the surface temperature of the black body. Now this Ts, since it is not subtraction or addition of temperatures, so here we are using temperature raised to power 4. By default, it has to be absolute temperature. We cannot use temperature in degree Celsius here. It has to be absolute temperature and the unit has to be Kelvin only. For this radiation heat transfer, we'll always be taking the temperatures in Kelvin only. Okay, so emissive power for a black body is given as EB is equal to sigma into Ts raised to 4, where sigma is equal to 5.67 into 10 power minus 8 watt per meter square Kelvin 4. Okay, now once we have this EB for a given temperature, so at the same temperature, what will be the emission radiated by energy emitted by a real surface can be calculated now by multiplying this EB with epsilon, where epsilon is the emissivity of the surface. Now this emissivity is a property of the surface, so it depends on the on certain characteristics of the surface from where we are analyzing the radiation emitted. So this is a property of the surface that provides a measure of how efficiently a surface emits energy relative to a black body. So we are just comparing with the help of this emissivity epsilon, we are comparing the emissive power of the real surface with that of the black body. Emissivity can be given as E upon EB. From these two equations, you can easily see that emissivity is equal to E upon EB. So it is nothing but it is showing us how effectively the actual real surface is approximating or approaching the black body in its emissive power. So it depends strongly on the surface material and finish. Its value ranges between 0 and 1. Of course, 1 will be for black body and 0 will be for white body. So irradiation. Now what is irradiation? The total radiation energy incident on a surface per unit area per unit time over entire wavelength from all directions and all sources is called irradiation. Means whatever source it is, whatever direction it is, whatever wavelength of the radiation is, whatever radiation energy is incident on a particular surface at a given time will be termed as, the summation of all that will be termed as irradiation. Okay, so energy which is the summation of all the energies which is radiant or incident on a surface at a given time will be termed as irradiation. So it is denoted by capital G and it's measured in watt per meter square. Now, unlike convection and conduction heat transfer, in case of radiation heat transfer, although we'll be denoting all the parameters in capital form, capital alphabets only, but these are all flux, not the heat transfer rate. It is heat transfer rate per unit area. Like in emissive power also we have seen it is per unit area. In irradiation also it is per unit area. In case of conduction and convection heat transfer, we used to denote it with small alphabet. If capital Q is the conduction heat transfer, then rate of conduction heat transfer, then small q will be flux, conduction heat flux. But in this case of radiation heat transfer, we'll be denoting all the flux only with capital alphabets. For most of the surfaces, parts of irradiation are absorbed, reflected, and transmitted. Now, what will happen to the radiant energy? The energy which is incident on a particular surface at a given time will be either absorbed by the surface, it can be either reflected by the surface, or it can be transmitted through the surface. So, or it can be divided into the 3 or 2 or 1. So let us see what this result into. So if absorptivity is the first phenomena, what happens is this is the irradiation, that is the complete incident radiation on the surface. This surface is semi-transparent material. We have intentionally taken this semi-transparent material because we were supposed to know what is transmitted, or what is the transmitted part, what is the absorbed part, and what is the reflected part. If we would have taken opaque object, let us say, we'll see what will be the effect. So absorptivity is the fraction of the energy or fraction of irradiation which was incident on this semi-transparent material, the fraction which is absorbed by this material. So this absorptivity is denoted by alpha. The fraction of radiation energy incident on the surface from all directions over entire wavelength that is absorbed by the surface is called absorptivity of the surface. It is denoted by alpha, and it can be given as G alpha upon G, where capital G is the irradiation, means total energy which is incident on the surface, and G alpha is the part of it which is absorbed by the surface or absorbed by the material. Reflectivity is the part which is reflected. So this was the total energy coming in or was incident on the surface. This part was reflected, this part was absorbed, and this part was transmitted through the surface. So reflectivity is rho, G rho upon G, where G rho is the part which is reflected. Rho G is the part which is reflected by the surface. So it neither absorbed that part nor it allowed it to transmit through it. Then the third part is transmissivity. Transmissivity is the part which fraction of the irradiation which was allowed to pass through the material. So this is given as tau, and tau G, G tau is the part which is transmitted through the material. Of course, all these parameters, absorptivity, reflectivity, and transmissivity will be dimensionless because it is the ratio of the same quantities, similar quantities. From the above definitions, we can easily say that alpha plus rho plus tau is equal to 1 because a part of G was G alpha, another part was G rho, and another part was G tau. There was no other part for G. So summation of these three will give you G, and it will become G upon G, that is 1. If tau is not equal to 0, then the surface can be termed as semi-transparent surface. If it is equal to 0, then the surface is opaque, means if transmissivity is 0, that means the surface is not allowing any part of the irradiation to transmit through itself. That means the surface or the body or the material is opaque body. Okay. Then if tau is equal to 1, then it means that all the irradiation what was incident on the surface at a given time was completely getting transmitted through the surface. Nothing of it was absorbed, nothing of it was reflected by the surface. So it is a characteristic of a transparent surface. For a black body, rho is equal to tau is equal to 0, means both rho is reflectivity and tau is transmittivity. So black body will neither reflect any part of irradiation nor it will transmit any part of it. It will simply absorb all the irradiation on it. Then for a white body, alpha is equal to tau is equal to 0, but rho is equal to 1. So it will reflect all the incident radiation on itself. In many engineering problems, except a few notable exceptions, liquids can be considered as opaque and gases can be considered as transparent to radiation heat transfer. Solids will be considered as opaque only, except a few semi-transparent solids, like some polymers and some semiconducting materials. Types of reflection. Now, reflection can be divided. This you have. Sorry. Types of reflection. The reflection can be categorized into two types basically. Those are specular reflection and diffuse reflection. Now, specular reflection is also called as mirror-like reflection. When the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection for a given ray or for a given radiation, then such reflection will be termed as specular or mirror-like reflection. Now here you can see that the angle of incidence is equal to angle of reflection in all these three cases. So this is example of specular reflection. This specular reflection or mirror-like reflection can be obtained from a surface which is perfectly smooth. If the surface, on the other hand, has some unevenness on it, or if it is not a perfectly smooth surface, if it has some disturbances, some roughness on it, then the reflection will not be specular reflection, it will be diffuse reflection. Means the angle of incidence will not be equal to angle of reflection in that case. So if the surface has some roughness, the incident radiation is scattered in all directions. What happens is the incident radiation will be scattered, will be staggered in all the directions, and such a reflection will be termed as diffuse reflection. Actually, for any real surface, the reflection cannot be perfectly specular reflection. It cannot be a diffuse reflection completely. So it will be a combination of these two. Now, emissive power we have defined. That emissive power was total emissive power. There is something called as spectral emissive power also. The amount of radiation energy emitted by a surface at an absolute temperature Ts per unit time, per unit surface area, and per unit wavelength d lambda, about a wavelength lambda, is called as spectral emissive power. It is designated as E lambda and is measured in watt per meter square. This is the unit for lambda. So this is per unit wavelength also. That's why this micron has come in denominator. While emissive power, total emissive power is given in watt per meter square only. Spectral emissive power will be per unit lambda. So that is watt per meter square micron. It is also called as monochromatic emissive power. Now it can be given as E lambda is equal to dE upon d lambda. And on the same lines, we can define monochromatic irradiation also. Again, it will be in a particular, for a particular wavelength. So it is defined as the radiant heat flux incident on a surface per unit wavelength about a wavelength from all directions. And it is denoted as G lambda, and given it watt per meter square micron. Sorry, I have to make some corrections here. It is expressed as G lambda is equal to dg upon d lambda. Or G, on the other hand, can be given as 0 to infinity integration of G lambda d lambda 0 to infinity for all wavelengths ranging from 0 to infinity. Spectral absorptivity. Based on this spectral or monochromatic irradiation, we can now define spectral absorptivity, spectral reflectivity, and spectral transmittivity. The total absorptivity was lambda alpha is equal to G alpha upon G. Now, this spectral absorptivity will be defined for a particular wavelength. So, if there is G lambda, which is the irradiation. If there is G lambda, that is irradiation, spectral irradiation, then the fraction of that monochromatic or spectral irradiation that is absorbed by the surface will be termed as spectral absorptivity. Similarly, the fraction of the monochromatic or spectral irradiation that is reflected by the surface will be termed as spectral reflectivity, and on the same lines, spectral transmittivity will be defined. Again, the summation of these three parameters will be equal to 1. There's Planck's distribution law, which is an important law which regulates radiation heat transfer. This was given by Max Planck, so it is based on quantum theory. So the spectral